Evening, Daryl. How's things, mate? Good to see you.
I am great, mate. Yourself?
Really good, thanks, mate. So thanks very much for joining.
Any
So,
bother.
so we're here primarily to talk about your new single, which is coming out in a few weeks, All Because of You. But first of all, just for anyone watching who maybe doesn't know much about you or has seen you for the first time, can you just tell everyone your name, age, and the sort of music that you play?
Right, my name's Daryl Speirs. I'm from Glasgow and I'm 25 and I play sort of indie music, indie dance. It's turning into now. Aye, primarily indie music.
Brilliant stuff, mate. So we'll get into that soon. So take us back. So you've been on the scene for a while. I've known you for a couple of years. We met a couple of years ago in the bungalow, I believe it was,
Aye.
when you were involved with Sperry. So just before then, how did you first get started in music and what inspired you?
Well, like when I was growing up, I was always around music. My dad and my ma were just, well, my dad Mayor was really, really obsessed with music and he would always play the Beatles to me in the car, tell me about certain interviews, go through like, do you know how like they sort of like B recordings or like tapes that get flung away off the Beatles, like unreleased material. He was like
B-sides
obsessed
and
with them, you
stuff.
know. Unreleased stuff, and he was listening to stuff like Tom Petty, the Eagles, Eric Clapton, Phil Collins, the Doors. There's just too many to remember, but the Beatles was the kind of one that he listened to a lot when I was younger. It was almost every time I was in the car that was playing. But I think for a young age, my dad would used to say to me, well, like, oh, you can be anything, you can do anything you want in your life. And he kind of got me like in a dreamlike state a lot about like what I wanted to do when I was older, what I wanted to do. But I think when I was a wee guy, I used to like procrastinate quite a lot and think, well, I could do that, but I never really done it in terms of music. I went and ventured into doing other things, like I done a bit of acting. I used to do voluntary acting when I was really young at Britannia Theatre Hall, and I got involved in different acting groups and stuff like that. So my creative kind of focus was on acting when I was a wee guy, but it wasn't actually till I left school that I really just picked myself up and threw myself into music because my younger brother played music before me. My dad could play guitar and he could play guitar. But one day it was like a summer, I was just sitting there and I was like, I'm going to do this now. And I got into playing guitar. It took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but almost instantly, as soon as I started playing the guitar, I started writing music. And I think because the thing is because it took me quite a long time to pick up the guitar, I had like a lot of kind of pent up energy, like to just go out and do it. I felt as if I had so much ideas and a way that I kind of felt as if I was making up for lost time in a way. So I was just writing constantly, and I think like the first year or two, I finished maybe about 60 or 70 songs, and I just wanted to just do something with it. I really, really wanted to do something with it, and it just kind of transpired for there. I was for Glasgow. Obviously, I'm from East End of Glasgow, but done a college course in media studies once I finished school, and then I moved in with a flatmate. I moved into a flat in Paisley with a mate, and like the music scene kind of got introduced to me through Paisley, which is funny because once I first went into music, it wasn't actually music events I was involved with. It was poetry nights. Went to poetry events, and I used to go to like a wee community centre for it, and we just write poetry. So I was spending most weeks saving like poetry onto my drafts, but I also was writing music in my spare time. But then I started finding out about open mic nights, and the first gig I ever done, open mic night, was at the bungalow, funnily enough. That was, I don't even know how long ago that was, but it's still up online, but I don't want to show anybody it because honestly it's rank, mate. Honestly, it's terrible. But I did a cover of Live Forever by Oasis, and I was so nervous. I was shaking. But see, once I played the first song, it was honestly like, it was like a drug. Everything in the room just kind of disappeared to black, and all my nerves went away, and it was incredible. It was like, I need to keep doing this now. I've started, I can't stop. And I just became quite obsessed with making music at that point, and I really, really enjoyed the songwriting. I think much more than the actually playing the guitar, because every time I'm writing a song, I always think to myself, right, this has to be true. What I'm thinking has to make sense to me, because you know how like sometimes we'll add in wee bits of flavour into songs to make them like more emotive, but a lot of the time I won't add a certain thing if I think it doesn't seem honest.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was at the beginning of my writing and playing music, but my perspective's changed a lot over the years.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's great to look back, even though you say you cringe at the very early days, just to see how far you've come. And I say to the bands that we work with, just try and play as much as possible. That's why we're constantly doing the lives. And you notice even the improvements in them. Not that they were bad at the start, but even just from doing 2 or 3 lives on Facebook, you notice how somebody's coming along. So it's sometimes good to look back and see how far you've come.
There's a lot of like, it's weird because your perspective at the time, like you think, oh man, I did really well there. I can definitely see how people would like this. But then like you're looking back and I'm like, do you know, I'm actually quite appreciative of people that thought, do you know, I see something in this guy or whoever's playing, you know what I mean? Because at the time when you're looking back on it, you wouldn't like give yourself the plaudits, you know what I mean? But again, it's all learning experience, and people can tell when you're starting out and when you're trying to just be yourself. That's the hardest thing in music, is when people tell you to be yourself. It's not as easy as that, because sometimes it takes a while to realise what you is. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I think one of the key things which you touched on there is you from the start you were writing your own music, and that's something, again, I'm not making this about us, but it's just using it as an example. One thing we look for if we are going to be working with an artist is their own material. It's great to smash out the covers, but that's different if you're a venue and you're just looking for some live entertainment to play in the corner on a Friday night. But you're looking for artists that can go somewhere. It's all about your songwriting ability, and that's something that you've been picking up on from the very start of your musical journey.
That's something that I found quite strange for me as well, though, because like people like, even at like night nights and that, when they do a cover, everybody's going to know it, so it's always going to go down well. But like the way I used to think was, if I didn't get a good reception on a night, I'd think to myself, well, it's because nobody's heard it. So that would, you know what I mean, I'd make up excuses in my head. Not make up excuses, but I had to understand that you've played this song in your head a million times, and it's only the first time they've heard it, so it's hard for them to kind of resonate with it. You know what I mean? No,
absolutely. It definitely is the easier route to go, just sitting playing covers, because you bang out Live Forever or something like that, and the whole room's going to join in, even if it's not like I can't sing to save my life, but if I went and sang Live Forever or something like that, then you'd probably get half the room joining in. But somebody who's a million times more talented than me could go and play an original, and then there's hardly a ripple.
I've done that before, where like I play a few of my own songs that like I thought I played them quite well there, but nobody's really like turned and run or whatever, and then I'll be like, man, I'm gonna go to like the emergency action. I'm going to hit it with like What's the Story, Morning Glory, and get everybody turned in, you know what I mean? Like, but no, I totally get that whole cover and original thing. It's hard to kind of, because I think like writing your own songs is such a dedicated practice, and sometimes it takes a lot of, you need to really think about people's perspectives when you're playing it to people, because obviously not everybody's going to understand it or get it, but you just need to believe in what you're doing as an artist, and you need to believe that you know where you're going with it, you know?
Absolutely. Just going back on your musical journey, so you're talking there about the early days and how you first got started, and I mentioned earlier that I knew you from when you were in Sperry. So how long from, was Sperry the first band that you were in, or were you in bands before that?
No, it was just that was it. That happened about, geez, I'm actually trying to think. I think it was maybe about two years after I started playing that I went into a band. 2 or 3 years, I can't remember, but it was around about then, 2 or 3 years time.
Nice one. And you've been solo for a while now, like a best part of a year or over a year, is it?
I over it probably about maybe a couple of years now, but a lot of it, my kind of what I wanted to do kind of stagnated for a while, because I just all sorts of different things I had to contend with, because I was doing different jobs as well, like retail work and stuff, and I was doing at points night shift work, and I went into a relationship at the time, so a lot of that just a lot of my music kind of took a back seat. I would just kind of want to step away from it for a while, because like when I was in the band, I kind of felt that it became more about business and like me having to deal with sort of like emails, and it just became a bit of a chore for me, and I didn't like it, and I wasn't enjoying it as much. So I just thought like it was a good excuse for me to just kind of step away from everything for a while.
Sometimes you need that just to step away, recharge your batteries, and just really reignite your passion, if you like. But it's good. It's good that you're back. Just never lose sight of your dreams. That's one thing I say to everyone, and it's good. It'd have been a shame if you hadn't picked it back up at that point.
Aye, and you need to see something as well, is like your goals change towards these and your doing music. Like when I first started with the band, like I was still in that mode of like, oh, I'm making up for lost time here. I'm so excited to just show people what I can, like the songs that I can write, and just show you the ideas the ideas that I had. But like now it's still that now, but now like my mindset is it's honestly just try to connect with people. I want to try and like, because even the day in society, like people are finding it hard to relate with people, and like I just kind of felt now's the time really just to try and just make a connection with an audience that you might find, you know.
Absolutely, and there's two sides I've saw to you, I've seen to you when you've been playing music, and lots of your music that I've heard's pretty deep, and it sounds like it's coming from the heart. And then remember the first time I actually saw you live was playing with Sperry the night at the bungalow I've mentioned before, and you were singing a song about a seagull or something, and I remember I was like. Because I remember I came up to you after that. We'd never met before, and I just walked up to you at the end of your set. That's how we met. And I remember thinking, I was like, I like this guy. This guy's different. I came up and shook your hand and introduced myself. But yeah, I've seen that you've definitely you've got you're multi-dimensional. I have to say, I saw the various sides
no,
of it.
like that's do you know what? I plan to come back to that song in some way or form, and I don't know when, but that's definitely going to come back. I think. But like, see, songs like that just came about for a laugh. A friend says to me one day, "Oh, Daryl, you should write a song about a seagull." So 15 minutes later, I wrote the lyrics down and sent it to him, and then I played it down. Actually, one of the first open mic nights that I done was in a place. I actually forgot the name of it, but it was in the West End of Glasgow in Partick. And me and a couple of regulars used to go in, and I've got a really good friend that stays in that area, Dennis, and he always brings that song up to me, oh, play the seagull song, play the seagull song. But like me, like the lyrics in that song was so fun for me to make, because I can be really creative, and it's got like double meanings a song, so it's like kind of playing with the viewer a wee bit, playing to the listener, and like leaving things open to interpretation, because it says oh baby pigeon, the way you shake your head, you lie to Mrs. Seagull and left some soda on the bed. Like that could be took as an actual like a bird flying into your window, or a woman or a guy. You know what I mean? Like, so every time I do that song, but we in the band used to have a laugh about this. I would go like, this next song's about a bird. It's not about a woman, but it's about a seagull. This is called the Seagull Song. So I'd always say that, and they'd always just look at me. But I thought it was dead funny.
I remember that intro. That's probably the first thing I remember about you.
Aye.
So you need to bring a seagull song back. That should be on the agenda for 2020.
Aye, definitely.
So going from the seagull song, so your latest single, which we're here to talk about, All Because of You. So I've obviously not heard it yet. I'm looking forward to hearing it when it comes out. So just tell us a bit about the song, what's behind it, and what we can expect from it.
Well, like it's a completely different song in terms of it's something that you'd never imagine yourself writing. And obviously, like when I finished up with the band, I went into like a relationship, and it was, you know what I mean, everything just kind of went in the back burner. But like when I was in the relationship, I became a lot more observant to my problems, and like with the problems that maybe that would go around my head, something that I realised that it didn't actually matter as long as like the person I was with was actually happy. So it changed my attitude to like the way I dealt with things in my head. And I thought, well, at the end of the day, like I need to focus on what's important, and that's somebody that I love. You know what I mean? I know it's pure cheesy, right? But that's true, and that song's about describing that and just describing like my weaknesses as a person and how little they matter when it comes to somebody that you care about.
Absolutely. So the song's going to be out. Just tell everyone who's watching when they can expect it to be released and what platforms it's going to be released on.
So it'll be released on the 31st of July, 12 o'clock UK time, 12 a.m. It'll be on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, just all major streaming platforms. But you can expect a big campaign to come with it. So just if you see it, let your friends know, let your pals know, let your family know, let anybody know. You could try and talk to your dog if you want. It's up to yourself. Just look out for it, folks, and I hope it connects with you.
Brilliant, mate. And just before we finish up, just tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
So you can find me on as Daryl Speirs on my Facebook, Daryl.Speirs on Instagram, it'll be DSpeirs7 I think on Twitter. And you can also find my website, which will be www.darylspeirs.com, and you can please save my track on that as well. So that's something to get done as well. My track's available to pre-save right now.
Brilliant, mate. I'll certainly be doing that. So I'm really looking forward to hearing it, all because of you. 31st of July, Daryl Speirs. Don't miss it. Daryl, thanks very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Right, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.